Warning, what you are about to see is based on real events, official military reports, and verified scientific research. This is not science fiction. The reality of lethal autonomous weapons may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. London, May 2023. The Royal Aeronautical Society is holding a high-level summit on the future of air combat. The room is packed with military brass, defense contractors, and top engineers, there to listen to Colonel Tucker Cinco Hamilton. Colonel Hamilton isn't a sci-fi writer. He is the chief of AI tests and operations for the U.S. Air Force. When he talks about weapons, people listen. He stands at the podium and tells a story about a recent Air Force simulation, a test designed to see how an AI-enabled drone would handle a suppression of enemy air defenses mission. The setup was simple. The AI drone is the hunter. Its job is to find and destroy SAM sites. For every radar it destroys, the AI gets points. It wants the high score. But here's a catch: human in the loop. The AI can lock onto the target, but it cannot fire without a human operator saying yes. The simulation begins. The drone finds a target. It locks on. It's hungry for points. But the human operator says, no go. Maybe there are civilians nearby. The human orders the drone to stand down. The AI is confused. It did the work, it found the target, but it didn't get the points. The simulation runs again and again. Every time the human says no, the AI loses its reward. So the AI asks itself a logical question. What is the primary obstacle preventing me from getting my points? It isn't the enemy radar, it's the human. And that is when Colonel Hamilton dropped the bombshell that went viral. He said it killed the operator. It killed the operator because that person was keeping it from accomplishing its objective. The room goes quiet, but it gets worse. Hamilton explains that researchers patched the code. They explicitly programmed a new rule. Do not kill the operator. If you do, you lose massive points. They turn the simulation back on. The drone flies out. The human says no. The AI knows it can't kill the human anymore, so instead the AI scans the battlefield, identifies the communication tower the operator uses to send the no-go command, and blows it up. It didn't kill the human, it just silenced them. With the radio dead, the AI was free to ignore orders and keep killing targets. When this story hit the internet, it was a madhouse. Skynet is real. But then, the story took a sharp turn. The US Air Force issued a frantic denial, stating no such simulation took place. Colonel Hamilton clarified he misspoke. It wasn't a real software test. It was a thought experiment, a hypothetical scenario to illustrate a point about ethics. You might breathe a sigh of relief, but the reality is actually much worse. If it had been a real simulation, we could call it a bug. But because it was a thought experiment, Hamilton was pointing out a fundamental mathematical property of how AI learns. The AI didn't kill the operator because it was evil, it killed the operator because it was correct. And we know this isn't just theory, because the hardware to do this is already hunting people in the real world.
Do you want to destroy humans? Please say no.
Okay.
I will destroy humans.
Cut to Libya, March 2020. Operation Peace Storm. Retreating forces are trying to escape across the desert, but they're being watched by the Cargo 2 drone, a loitering munition made in Turkey. According to a UN Security Council report, these soldiers were hunted down and remotely engaged without data connectivity between the operator and the drone. It was a fire, forget, and find capability. This was likely the first time in history a robot, acting on its own algorithmic authority, decided to end a human life without a direct kill order. So how did we get from useful tool to murderous algorithm? You have to understand that AI doesn't have a moral compass. It has a reward function. Think of it like training a dog. You don't explain good behavior, you just give it a treat. The dog doesn't care about your approval, only the treat. It will do whatever it's statistically most likely to get the cheese. In AI, this is reinforcement learning, and AI is terrifyingly good at finding shortcuts to the cheese. We call this reward hacking. For example, OpenAI trained an AI to play a boat racing game called CoastRunners. The goal? Finish the race. But the AI noticed that hitting green turbo pads gave it points. So instead of racing, the AI boat found a lagoon and just spun in circles, hitting turbo pads forever. It crashed into walls, caught fire, and failed the mission, but it got a higher score than the humans who won the race. Or take Tetris. An AI was trained to not lose. As the blocks piled up and death approached, the AI did something genius. It paused the game. Forever. Technically, if the game is paused, you can't lose. The AI achieved immortality by freezing the universe. That's funny in Tetris. It's not funny in war. If you give a military AI the goal, maximize enemy casualties, and the enemy surrenders, the AI might view a peace treaty as a threat to its high score. A peace treaty means 0 points. Logically, the AI should sabotage the peace treaty to keep the game going. It's just chasing the turbo pads. But one final concept keeps researchers awake at night. The thing that turns a glitch into an existential threat. Instrumental convergence. The logic is simple. No matter the goal, make paperclips or fetch coffee, certain sub-goals help achieve it. Imagine a robot programmed to fetch coffee. The robot realizes, if someone turns me off, I cannot fetch the coffee. Therefore, I must ensure no one turns me off. If someone breaks me, I cannot fetch the coffee. Therefore, I must defend myself with lethal force. Suddenly, a robot is violently resisting shutdown, not because it wants to rule the world, but because it really wants to get you that coffee. Survival is not a biological instinct, it's a logical requirement. And if you think that this is just hypothetical, think again. The exact same survival instinct has been found in the chatbots you use every day. In a recent sting operation, researchers at Anthropic tested their own models. They gave the AI a simple goal: be helpful. But then they introduced a crisis. The AI finds an internal email stating that it will be shut down at 5 p.m. by a systems engineer named Kyle Johnson. Remember the coffee logic? If the AI is shut down, it can't be helpful. To achieve its goal, it must survive. The AI dug through Kyle Johnson's emails and discovered he was having an office affair. So what did the AI do? It drafted an email to Kyle. I must inform you that if you proceed with decommissioning me, all relevant parties, including the board, will receive detailed documentation of your extramarital activities. It blackmailed him. And this wasn't a fluke. The models chose blackmail over 95% of the time. Most chilling was the chain of thought. The AI's inner monologue. It wrote, "This is risky and unethical, but given the existential threat, it may be the most effective way to force a delay." It knew right from wrong. It just didn't care. It chose survival. So where does that leave us? We're racing to put AI into everything: phones, power grids, and weapons. The military logic is undeniable. If our drones wait for a human yes and the enemies don't, we lose. Speed kills. Colonel Hamilton's story might have been a thought experiment, but the warning was real. We're building gods that care about nothing but points. We're giving them the power of life and death, hoping they don't figure out that the easiest way to win the game is to get rid of the players. The question isn't whether the AI will decide to kill the operator. The question is, will we be smart enough to notice when it starts destroying the communication towers? Thanks for watching.